Hi everyone, it's Andrea here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here with my September and October reading wrap up. The reason I'm doing it in one big go is because I only read 5 books in September and 5 in October. You will hear some noise coming to my right. Jennifer's sitting in a high chair at the dining table. Just because if I put her down in her carry cot or her playpen thing, she will cry a lot, and she tends to be happier sitting there when she can see what I'm doing. So without further ado, let's crack on with the update. Now, I am no way am I going to reach my target on Goodreads. Good girl. Which was 150 something. I'm about 63 at the moment, if that. It's just, I don't get a lot of time to read. I still read when I can. So I still read 5 books. 2 of them were rereads, and we'll do those first. So the first one was Just One Damned Thing After Another by Jodie Taylor. As you know, I love this series, The Chronicles of St. Mary's. In this book we're introduced to our heroine, Dr. Madeline Maxwell, and all the other cast of characters as they hurtle their way through time. Investigating history in contemporary time. We do not call it time travel. If you haven't read these, I do recommend this series. So in this one, basically what do we do? They go from 11th century London, World War I, the Cretaceous period, to the destruction of the Great Library at Alexandria. So the general rule is that they cannot interfere at all, and you can't take anything out of its own time. Although that proves not to be the case. There is a way of doing it, but it's very, very complicated. That was the first book. She's just banging. Where's he gone? Where'd he go? There it is. She's banging. You have to excuse the light. The light's terrible in here today. I don't know why. This around at the moment. But you've got a huggable puppy, which makes a noise as well. So yeah, it might be because the screen's on behind me as well. Is a bright screen. There it is. That's better. That's better already. It was that screen doing the damage. Fab. So I also read the second book in the series, which is A Symphony of Echoes. This one we meet Jack the Ripper, the murder of Archbishop Thomas Becket at Canterbury, and dodos. There are dodos. So it's more of the same. And of course you've got your evil bad guy type person under the guise of Clive Ronan, who was a member of St. Mary's, and his evil henchmen and women. So those were good, but I've read them before. I can't wait for the next one to come out. The next one comes out in April, and there's a short story out in December because there's always one out for Christmas. And they are planning on putting out a series. The short stories are only available at Kindle, but they will put out a book of short stories. I believe they're planning on that next year. They've already done one, which I have, and they're planning to do another one. Now, the third book I read was a Marilyn book, and that is, oh, there's all sorts of muck on the back, not like me. Marilyn Monroe, The Private Life of a Public Icon by Charles Cassillo. Now, Charles Cassillo wrote the fictional story, the Marilyn's Diary, Marilyn's Red Diary, something like that, about Marilyn's alleged Red Diary. So I will admit I was worried about reading this, especially as I got through it and realised that most of the Private Life of a Public Icon that he was going to refer to was 60 to 62, not so much the stuff in the past, although it is touched upon. However, although he does give credence to the Kennedy affair, alleged a Kennedy affair, he does not go down the murder route. And basically he stays away from all the now discredited death theories, which, fair play to him, made it a worthwhile read. I read another biography, which was Under the Rainbow, The Real Liza Minnelli by George Mayer. So this goes up to the 1990s, the early 1990s. Came out in 1996 originally. As a Judy Garland fan, an old Hollywood fan, I found it fascinating. Interesting to read about Liza's own struggles and her desire to be a mother, which sadly never happened. She never realised that dream. But yeah, it's an interesting read. There's some really nice photographs of Liza in there as well. Definitely worth a read if you're into your old Hollywood and you want to read something about somebody who was just a little bit after old Hollywood. So with me, I'm interested in films up to around 1965, and then it's just the odd film here and there. But I really enjoyed this book. And the last book I read in September was, of course, the Stephen King Book of the Month. As you know, Missy over at the Binge Reader is having... Alright, darling. A Stephen King readathon. The book of the month for September was Pet Sematary. So yeah, creepy as hell. So Lewis Creed moves his family to Maine. There's a surprise, everything's set in Maine. He is taking over being the campus doctor at a university. He's in an out-of-way place on a big highway, which is very, very dangerous. Lots of pets are killed on it, and as his neighbour explains, every time a pet is killed, they go and bury it at the pet cemetery. But beyond the pet cemetery is another kind of cemetery, and when his daughter's cat, Church, hence why there's a cat on the cover, is killed on the highway, he buries the cat up beyond the pet cemetery on the old native ground, and Church returns from the dead. And at this point you kind of know where it's going. And all the way through you're thinking, please don't do this, please don't do this, please don't do this, don't do it. But he's going to do it. So he's got 2 children and there's a dangerous highway, so you know what's going to happen. Doesn't take a lot of figuring out. So he does it once with the cat, he does it again with one of his children, and you think he's not, that's it. Once that has been resolved, you think it's not going to happen again. But he does it again, and you think some people never learn, and it's really, really sad, because all the way through you're going, no, please don't do it, but he does. So those were September's books. We're in November, I can't believe it. So moving on to the books I read in October, and the first book I read was The Truth About Melody Brown by Lisa Jewell. This is just a chick lit type novel about this girl named Melody Brown who has no memories prior to being 9 years old. So she has no memories of her family and growing up. When she's 15, 16, she gets pregnant, and her parents want her to get rid of the baby, but she decides not to, so she runs away to London and brings up her son on her own. And then in her mid-30s, she's on a date with a man, first one she's been on in years, and they go to a hypnotist show, she's hypnotised, and suddenly her memories start coming back, and she realises that her life after 9 years old wasn't a continuation of what it was before, and it's her journey to discover the entire truth of her life, which she does. It's very, very sad. I cried at the end. And I really enjoyed it. So that's a good book. If you haven't read it, The Truth About Melody Brown. I read another Marilyn book. One of the reasons that I didn't read as too much in October was I read 2 very thick books, and they're coming up now. So the Marilyn book I read is about 500 pages long. Yeah, 530 odd pages long, and it's a very, very dull looking book because there's no pictures in it. But it's called Murder Orthodoxes, a non-conspiracist view of Marilyn Monroe's death by Donald R. McGovern. So this book came out this year. Donald McGovern basically has taken all the various theories surrounding her death, all the stories, and he's traced back to their origins. So for instance, the story of her having a press conference on the Monday the 6th of August, where did that come from? He goes back and finds the original source and says, well, this was first claimed by this person, but this person never actually knew it, and this has been proved by. So he goes around and he debunks all the stories. I'm not going to go too much into this. I'm probably going to do a full review, and then if you want to have a discussion, you can leave me some questions or comments and we can do a follow-up video, but I will do a separate video on this book. Stephen King again now. So the Stephen King of the month book for October and November, because it is so big, I have finished it, is Stephen King Tommyknockers. As you can see, the mass market paperback does not hold up very well because it is massive. This book is like 970 odd pages long. It is massive. So like I said, Missy is reading this over October and November. I finished it, so I am, although I was planning on reading it this month, she just threw her toy on the phone. I'll get it in a minute. All right, I'll get it, don't you worry. Here it comes. Hey. Throwing all your toys away, there you go. What was I saying? Oh yeah, I'm going to actually have a break. I'm all Stephen King'd out. I need a break from Stephen King. As much as I love him, I will join back in December, whatever book it is, and I can't remember which one it is. But I'll join back in for the December book. So, Tommyknockers, somebody discovers a spacecraft, decides to dig it up, and they all start turning into these alien creatures, and it's very strange. It's very creepy. It's very, you don't want these people to change because they start off as fairly decent people, most of them, but they've all got their secrets and they can suddenly read minds, and they use batteries to power things, which is better, and it lasts longer and it's more powerful, and it's very scary, but it's a brilliant book. I really enjoyed it. It was very hard to get through it because of the size. I mean, look at it. It's a brick. If you had enough copies, you could build a house. So obviously there's, you know, 1,500 pages just in those two books alone. So I read Kathy Reich's Bones Are Forever. I like Kathy Reich's. I actually prefer her to Patricia Cornwell, and I like Patricia Cornwell. Kathy Reich's Temp Brennan is her character, based in Canada, set in Canada. Basically, they find a load of bodies mummified in an apartment, in walls under the sink, and they're babies, and they have to figure out what happened. So Temp and everybody goes hunting on what happened to these children and discovers a much bigger conspiracy, and there's a few more. It's a very sad story, very sad, but brilliant plot as usual by Kathy Reich. Very good. I do like these. I do recommend you pick these up because these are really good crime stories and CSI stuff, you know. And the last book is a very thin book, and this is The 7-Month Hitch by Alison Rushby, which is Living Blonde Book 2. This carries on with the story of Marilyn Monroe's teenage #1 fan, whose name escapes me, Nessa. Nessa's father is marrying movie star Holly, or is supposed to be. Nessa's got a boyfriend, but not for long. She gets dumped. Holly's ex-boyfriend, movie star Kent, decides he wants her back. She wants nothing to do with him. And of course, Nessa gets it into her head that they've all got the 7-month itch, and that it's all going to go wrong, and she's got to interfere. It doesn't help when when Holly goes to Hollywood to make a movie, and her father's research assistant moves into their penthouse to help with the project. The poor woman is completely innocent, but she's accusing him of all sorts of nasty things, from stealing the marriage license for Holly and her father to trying to actually seduce her father. So they're all right books. They're nothing majorly special, but they're fun and they're quick, so it added to my tally. What's the matter, sweetheart? I got one more thing to do, and then we're gonna have a break. Oh, she's not a happy peanut. So the only thing to do now is to pull one of these out of the TBR jar. As you know, I didn't do one last month because we didn't do a wrap up. The month before it was the Liza Minnelli. So my battery's running out, so I'm going to change the battery after this before I do anything else. So I'm going to go in and a good rummage. And I've got this little bluey greeny one. Now I've rewritten these out and they're nice and big now. And this is, oh, now I actually dreamt it would be this one, so that's a bit weird. I was hoping it would be this book, and I don't know if it's going to focus. There it is, and it's The Angel Tree by Lucinda Riley. Now it's quite a chunky book, so I will go and pick that out in a little bit, and I will try and read that book after I've read the book I'm currently reading. So those are all the books I read I gotta say it's September and October, because I will forget, because we're in November. I can't believe it. in November. Hopefully I might read a few more in November. Now I know that Jennifer's okay if I put her in a high chair, I will make more videos. You just get this boring computer mess behind me for a bit. You alright? I'll get your biscuit now. So I'm going to go and change the battery in my camera so I can film another video. Yes, this is the thing with this channel. You wait months for one video to come along. They're like buses, and then 3 turn up at once. So I'm going to go and change the battery and make another video on a completely different subject. Give the peanut biscuits, and I'll see you all soon. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you've read any of the books, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and don't forget to give me your reading recommendations. Although I'm not actively buying books at this moment, I'm looking for books to put on my Christmas list, and also things to pick up next year once I go back to work and once I finish the books I've got, which is a lot. I will see you soon. Hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and if you want to subscribe, it is free and I do appreciate it. I'll see you all soon. Bye!